Hi, my name is Celeste. This is Amber and Jamie. And for our University Foundations 200 class, we decided to do a project on refugees in Idaho. We found a lot of interesting things that we want to share with you in this segment today. The first being that there is actually a long history of refugees in the great state of Idaho. Beginning in 1970 with Governor John Evans, this began as an Indo-Chinese refugee program to assist Southeast Asian refugees. Maybe you didn't know that, but there actually were a lot of refugees that came to us from Southeast Asia. So since then, Idaho has been accepting refugees, and from 2012 to 2014, we have seen a significant increase of refugees from Syria and other countries like Iraq, Congo, Bhutan, Burma, and Somalia. This is according to the Idaho Office for Refugees. In 2012, the United States accepted its 10,000th Syrian refugee. Also, according to a local TV station, I believe it's KTVB, Idaho has the most amount of refugees than Los Angeles and California and New York City combined. So that is a huge amount of refugees that we have here.
Look at this graph over here as well. This is from 2010 to 2014, just representing the different countries that they're coming from, which I think is pretty significant. 38% from Southeast Asia, 31% from Africa, and then some from other countries as well. Idaho in particular has 4 resettlement agencies for refugees who decide to come here. The first one is the Agency for New Americans that's located in Boise. We have the International Rescue Committee, which is also in Boise, and the World Relief Center in Boise as well. And then in Twin Falls, it's called the CSI Refugee Program. The one I'm going to touch on the most is probably the International Rescue Committee, also known as the IRC, because they do a lot of our work here in Boise, Idaho to help refugees who come here, and they particularly work to help them transition into the move to the United States. And they offer support, they provide furnished homes, help with rent, affordable food, and they also help the refugees who come here build computer and literacy skills so that they can maintain jobs and keep them, and as well as community support, letting them know that they are welcome here, even though they may not feel like they are.
Mm-hmm. And while committees like this are doing great things for everybody, it's also our job as individuals in order to make sure that the immigrants and refugees that are coming here feel very safe and welcome in Boise. The number one factor in a successful transition from another country to the United States, which, as you can imagine, is probably very scary and very difficult. So it's our job to make sure that people who come here feel very welcome here and feel very safe here and don't feel discriminated against or harassed or threatened or humiliated, and that's our job as individuals. Personal attitudes are uniquely important to ensuring that people here feel very safe and welcome. It eases anxiety and it makes transition and settling into another country a whole lot better. You can also donate supplies to groups like the International Refugee Committee, which ensure that the people that do come here are able to avoid poverty, because while they do get government funding for the first couple months, that funding runs out very quickly. So making sure that people have food security and a safe home for their children is absolutely paramount. You can also volunteer your time after extensive screening to help immigrants and refugees who might not have access to cars be able to make appointments, go to the grocery store, get to work on time. These are things that you can do uniquely to make sure that people here feel very welcome.
I think one thing that I forgot to mention initially was, what is a refugee? I will read something that was taken from the Idaho Office for Refugees website that you can actually Google, and that's another great resource to check out online. But according to the Idaho Office for Refugees, a refugee is any person who is outside any country of such person's nationality, or in the case of a person having no nationality, is outside any country in which such person last habitually resided, and who is unable or unwilling to return to, and is unable or unwilling to avail himself or herself of the protection of that country because of a persecution or a well-founded fear of persecution on account of race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, or political opinion. Basically, a refugee is someone who has had to leave their homeland or their place of living due to an extrinsic source, so something outside of their control that has pressured them to seek refuge. Unfortunately, in many communities across the United States, there has been a lot of mixed reviews as to if refugees should be allowed. But we personally believe that we want to welcome refugees in Idaho, and we believe that there is a place for them here. There has been in some counties the issues of refugees bringing problems with the law. For example, recently in the Magic Valley, which is the Twin Falls area, there was some issues that were brought to a city council meeting about a possible person that was a member of the Muslim community creating acts of crime. And you can look that up online and Google that to get further information. But a lot of times in our research, we actually believe that people tend to have fear about this or shun people because it's all rooted in fear of the unknown, fear of if this person is a terrorist. And the truth of the matter is, just because someone belongs to a specific religion or a specific social group, it does not make them a terrorist. Unfortunately, there are people within these groups who are radical and they are terrorists and they do commit crimes, but just because this one person in this group commits these acts does not make everybody in that group a criminal or a terrorist. So we really encourage you to get rid of that bias on fear and to be accepting and to be welcoming of refugees in Idaho because there is a place for them here, and we do want to reach out to them. I think that there's a lot of things, as Jamie has mentioned, that we can do as a community to help and to contribute to their success in our counties. I don't know if there's any issues that you guys would want to give to our community, any advice or anything that we could tell them as to how to reach out to them and how to welcome them, to make them feel welcomed, or just even what you would want. Think of how you would want to be treated if you were a refugee. I think empathy and compassion is a huge tool that we can use to combat fear and to understand people and where they're coming from.
I think it's just really important to be accepting and open to them being here. It's not really any different than, like, say, me moving here from another state or something. Yeah. I don't know anybody, I'm new, and so just having that warm, welcoming smile or like, hey, so-and-so, or this place is located here, or you can get help there, kind of thing. Just offering information and guidance is really important, because imagine how they feel when they come here from another country, hardly speak English or don't at all, and just feel alone and in a completely different place. So I think it's just really important to be open and not just, oh, I don't know, just give them the cold shoulder kind of thing. So
I agree. It's about, like, smiling at them on the streets and saying hello and inviting them to your cul-de-sac barbecue.
Just being welcoming.
Yeah.
It's also being culturally aware and culturally sensitive, and understanding that the transition here is probably very difficult.
Absolutely.
And willing to help your neighbors in order to make sure that it's smooth and very easy for everybody.
Yeah. Absolutely. I definitely agree with what you guys have said, and I think our charge and our urge to you, to those who are listening today, would be just to be accepting and to come at it again from a place of compassion and of empathy. Try to place yourselves in their shoes, because many of us here are lucky to never have to experience the life of seeking refuge. But keep in mind, the things that you've been blessed with and the things that you maybe take for granted. I know I've taken things for granted before, and in doing the research for this and in figuring out who refugees are and what they need, I have become more aware. So just like we said, be aware of the culture, be aware of yourself, and mix those two things together to be welcoming. And we just wanted to say thank you for listening to this segment. We hope that you gained some knowledge and some information on how you can reach out to refugees in the communities here in Idaho. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.